you need this for your spiritual journey too. So yeah.
Would you or could you ever go back to eating meat?
You know, I wish I could taste it in my mouth, but I can't say that I wish I could eat it again.
Mm,
Like
I know what you mean.
I don't like the sluggish feelings I used to have after eating it. You always felt like your digestive system was just working overtime to try to get, and especially if it was like steak, forget it, or a pork chop. So I miss it sometimes, but not enough to go down that road. I'm good. I got a freezer full of shrimp, lobster, crab, and salmon and cod, so I'm good.
Yeah, there was someone at work where I used to work, and she used to eat a lot of meat. And she had steak. I think she had it a few days in a row. And she said that she didn't use the washroom to
Yeah.
do number two, for those who don't
Hmm.
know, for like 3 or 4 days.
Yes.
Because all the meat that she was eating was just sitting there in her stomach. And when she
In your
told that story,
intestines.
yeah, I understood, right? I was thinking, here I am eating what many people probably call like a cow's diet,
Right, right.
right? And you probably noticed this too, right? We're going to the washroom pretty healthily, pretty
Often.
easily, often,
Yes.
right? Because
Yes.
the more vegetables you have, I tend to like because it's so water based, right? You tend to go.
Hmm.
And this person goes to washroom twice in a week.
Oof. I remember those days though. I remember those days. They were not fun
It
at
was that
all.
bad?
Yeah, yeah. You just feel sluggish and like you feel clogged because you are. You just feel clogged.
Get the plunger out and just
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I miss the flavor in my that's what I miss. Like if I could choose something and spit it out, I'd be okay, just because I'm still new to all of this, but it's definitely not worth the intestinal blockages. No.
yeah, especially with all the stuff that's coming out about like gut health and how important it is. I
Yes.
still don't understand how
Yes.
people can struggle that way. But that's actually a perfect segue into your journey because you went through a weight loss journey and you've been going through that for a while now. So why don't we officially introduce yourself? Tell my audience a little bit about who you are and let's get right into your story as well.
Absolutely. My name is Tywanah Evette. I go by Black Butterfly Goddess. That's my alter ego. And I had issues with my weight going up and down after my car wreck in 2004. And it was primarily because of all the medicine, all of the medication, especially things like narcotics, they literally paralyze your intestines. So I would go through bouts where I would just gain weight, gain weight, gain weight. And then it got to a point where I was on 14 different medicines, not including my pain meds. 14 different, uh, between insulin, diabetes pills, cholesterol, heart medicine. I was 362 pounds. And even if I ate a salad, my sugar would jump up. So I did try to lose it on my own, and because of my injury, because of the car wreck, because of the fact that I still to this day have to take pain medicine. I've got titanium sitting on my sciatic nerve. Um, my doctor kept trying to get me to have weight loss surgery, to have the sleeve done. Um, and I finally did it because she told me I didn't have long to live, that I had been maxed out on every single medicine. They couldn't give me any more, and that I wouldn't be alive by the end of the year. I had also had previous renal failure, full renal failure on the transplant list. So I did have the sleeve done, but when I people think it's the easy way out, it's not. It's not. We go through so much more than just being able to lose weight naturally. I would have chosen that over the surgery any day. Our hair is constantly falling out. We're constantly worried about our skin because, we're not receiving as many vitamins and nutrients from the food. So it's a rest of the life thing where you have to be conscious and aware of what you're putting in your body and make those good decisions to flood your body with those good nutrients versus, eating a bag of Lay's potato chips, which is my weakness, but nobody heard that.
I want to say that my weakness is, and I have it actually to the right of me, granola bars, dark chocolate, oats, granola bars.
Those are so good. I can't
So
buy them.
good.
I'll eat them all
I've had three already today on top of this after the
on
salmon,
top of your salmon.
right? On top of the salmon. And I justify it as it's for fiber, which helps me.
We have the same justification.
That's right. It goes to the washroom better, everyone. Okay. So that's how I
Exactly.
justify it. But for
I love
you,
it.
right? Like it was like when I look at when I listen to what you just shared, and when I look at some of my friends who've struggled with weight, most of the people that I know who struggled with weight are women.
Hmm.
And most of the women that I know that struggle with weight, it's later on in life and there was a
Yes.
cause, right? So for you, it was a car accident. For some of these
Yes.
ladies, it was like a divorce. It
Right.
was something else, right? It was something that changed their life in a way that maybe they weren't as prepared as they thought they would be
Hmm.
in the case of these women and their relationships, or it was something that you couldn't prepare for, like a car accident. You don't walk down the street and
Right.
say, okay, I'm prepared to get hit by a car today.
No.
No, no one does that, right?
I was on my way to work. No.
Absolutely. Like I remember when I was in a car accident, I was trying to get gas at a gas station and the car hit me into one of the pumps. Right. And I was scared because you see in the movies, you hit the pump,
Yes.
instant
And
explosion.
it blows up.
It blows up. In reality, that doesn't happen.
They prepare for
So
it would have to be an 18 wheeler. They prepare for that.
exactly. So at 362,
Hmm.
I always envision from what I'm told, but I'll get this from you. At 362, my friends who've reached that size, who are overweight, who are obese, they say that the world is different to them.
It is.
Was that what you went through? And if so, how different was the world to you?
People definitely treat you differently. When you're bigger, they just, think you're a lard A star and you're lazy and you just sit at home eating Lay's potato chips and, double dark chocolate granola bars all day in front of the television. They didn't see me running on the treadmill for hours. They didn't see me eating literally salads for days at a time and still not able to get the weight off. So society has this thing where it's like, oh, if you're overweight, it's your fault and you're a bad person and you don't deserve the airplane seat and you don't deserve respect. And when in reality, no, it's our food source. Think about it. When my number one, my grandmother died at 92 or 93 years old. She ate fried chicken all the time, but she wasn't overweight. And I really attribute it to what they're putting in our food, in addition to the hormonal changes that women go through when there is a major life event happening. It kind of pairs together.
And I think that's something that's overmissed is the nutrition,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Like we discussed, we're both pescatarian, so there's sacrifices that we've had to make,
Hmm.
right? And we look like we're pretty close in age. So even though you started yours a little bit later than I did, I remember a time where you couldn't just go anywhere and get a tofu burger or
Yes.
anything of that nature, right? It was if you don't make it at home,
You can't have it.
you're out of luck, right? Now it's a lot better, but it's still, I would argue, not great because for seafood options, it's if you don't like shrimp, it's a tough world out there, right? Because shrimp pasta, shrimp everything, essentially. So
Yes.
when you had like the struggles of looking at the world, I know that there's this stigma that you're right, that people look at those who are larger in size and think that they're very lazy, they're
Hmm.
very undisciplined. And maybe there's some people like that, but there's a lot of people that aren't. Like I go to the gym and I see some people working their butts off at the gym
Hmm.
and they're bigger. And then you have that's a social aspect. And then you have probably, let's say the romantic side,
Yes.
where if I'm assuming you're a heterosexual woman, you have probably men who are viewing you differently,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
now your post that situation. So when you compare the two, what are some of the major differences that you see?
People take me seriously. Men compliment me and say I'm beautiful. My face was still the same. It was a little more puffy, but it was still the same. I haven't had facial reconstruction surgery. Um, People automatically treat me with dignity. I remember not having dignity when I was bigger, or going in stores. Oh my God, going in a store and try something on. I used to go into crying fits. My daughter can tell you. I used to go into crying fits because, they've gotten a little better since the pandemic started as far as women's fashion is concerned for larger sized, people. But it was a tent. It was a muumuu. That's how and I'm from New York City. I worked on Fashion Avenue. When I graduated high school. What do you mean I have to wear this muumuu? No, you know? So it's a little better now, but I'm treated with much more dignity and respect today.
I went through something similar, but not the same, where when I was trying to gain weight, I was very, very skinny. So in high school, I was, I think, around 100 pounds. I
Mm,
was nothing underweight. Thank God for puberty. And then I started to grow and gain a little bit weight. And you're absolutely right how people view you, because I remember hearing the comments about those who are really thin
hmm
and those who are really big. The
hmm
difference that I found was that people were more vocal about those who are bigger,
Yes.
right? And you had, like, when a man is obese or overweight, it's more so his friends telling him,
hmm
"Hey buddy, hey Johnny, like, your fat ass, get up," right? Like, it's
Right,
more,
right.
right? There's some friendly nature to it, but it's still, a comment is a comment. Whereas when it's strangers, from what my friends tell me, it's more making fun of. Like, how times where there's people, when someone says a joke, there's some people laughing at you, but there's still
Yes.
majority of people laughing with you. It
Yes.
seems that, especially ladies who are a bit bigger, it comes across as everyone's laughing at them,
Yes.
right? And you mentioned something that was very powerful to me, was you felt like they were taking your dignity away.
Yes.
And there's only two ways to get that back. Either you have to get it back for yourself,
hmm
from yourself,
hmm
or you need someone there to help you rediscover it,
Right.
right? What ultimately led you to want to lose the weight, to push through and reclaim your dignity?
Me reclaiming my dignity came with me walking into my physician's office to refill the 14 statins, all these different insulins and things like that. And I was so excited. I just kept talking about how my daughter was pregnant and she was having a girl this time, and I was going to fly to California to be there for the birth, since I was, there for my grandson's birth. And my doctor sat down and looked at me and said, "You won't be here." And I said, "Come again?" And she said, "I've been trying to get you to have the surgery for 2 years, and we keep adding medication. You're now maxed out on everything. You will not be here. Your body's going to give out." And 2 weeks later, I was on the table. I was determined to meet my granddaughter. 2 weeks later, I had the sleeve surgery. So that's I guess you can say that's how I reclaimed my dignity. And as the weight started to fall off, all of a sudden band moms didn't look at me, with the side eye anymore. And, people wanted to get to know me and things like that. And it was just like, no, I see through you. We're good. We're good. If you can't treat somebody with dignity and respect just because of who they are, you don't need to be in my life. So women do have a hard time reclaiming that. And I had to use the surgery as a tool, because it's not a fix, it's a tool. There are a lot of rules and things that we have to do on our end nutritionally to make this tool work for us for the rest of our lives. And not eating Lay's potato chips every day is one of those things, despite they taste good.
You had, I guess, like an epiphany moment where it's like, I need to do this
Yes.
because I want to be here. There's people that
Yes.
I need to be here for.
Yes.
And then there's the other side where there's some people who they don't have maybe someone important for them. And
Hmm.
I think this goes back not only for those who are maybe a little bit bigger, I think this goes for anyone that is trying to overcome some trauma is they seek instant attention and validation,
Ooh.
right? And from a sexual standpoint, it's a lot easier for women because regardless of what size you are, there's always going to be that guy,
Yes. Yes.
right?
There's always
When
one.
there's always one. And if you're a bigger man, there's no woman that's going to deal with you like,
I agree, but I disagree. Because
well,
I've seen society accepts men. It like it's just normal that older men have a beer belly or a belly, you know? And society is fine with that. But then you've got society that has pushed out so many of these model images. You've got all these girls and grown women running to get BBLs because of what society is pushing. So I think it's a lot more accepted when a man has a huge belly.
do you think that, and that's where I was going with that statement, do you think that maybe then the larger stomach is more acceptable on the men's side, but a larger entire frame is not accepted on either
Yes.
side,
Yes.
right?
100%.
So in that situation, then if you're looking to not find your own purpose, but you're looking for that instant gratification, you could have both sides now
Hmm.
saying that I want someone to make me feel better, even if it's for 10, 15 minutes. And that's where I think a lot of people who are struggling with body image tend to find themselves in
Yes.
difficult sexual situations.
Very much.
Um, have you come across, maybe not necessarily you, but have you come across um, people that have struggled with that? And what is your take on it?
I don't have anyone in my life who, in my current life or even my past life, who struggle with it enough to seek, sexual validation from it. But I do know it exists. I do know it's rampant in the, 30s and under group. People, this is hookup culture. So it kind of helps that cause. It kind of helps feed into that. But I agree. You have to learn how to validate yourself, and that's where it begins. That's where your true journey begins when you pull back and say, "No, I am worth this. I am worth more than 15 minutes of gratification, if that."
What would you tell yourself, like knowing what you know now, what would you
Mhm.
tell yourself back then with the wisdom that you have today?
That it's okay to have the surgery, and it's okay if people judge you. People judge regardless. But it was necessary. Like I said, I had already had complete renal failure, and miraculously recovered from that. So